Greetings, Earthlings.
Warning, the following program contains strong Black first opinion about mature and strong subject matter that affects Black America and the diaspora as a whole. Listen at your own risk, you sissies.
Grand Rising All, you are listening to the one and only Be One or None. Good morning from Africatown, Los Angeles.
Grand Rising, everyone. We are in the house. I know we've been late, so y'all just send some positive energy out there for my mom and all the moms and everybody that's out here struggling, and that's dealing with health issues right now. But we are going to jump into our topic today: Black America's unseen struggle. Why equity feels out of reach while others are prioritized. Now, I know that y'all have been seeing all the headline, all the news, immigrants this, illegals or legal immigrants, people saying we're going to be next, which is not true. And I just had to take a step back and look at everybody is fighting for immigrants, even some Black people. And we still ain't got reparations. We can't even get anybody to talk or agree that Black people need reparations. Immigrants would not have anywhere to go to. Immigrants will not, you wouldn't be able to come over here to make money to send back to your country if it wasn't for the Black struggle. We put our life on the line, our ancestors, and it wasn't that long ago. I want y'all to look up how old is America? America is like 250 years old. America itself. Our grandparents lived, it's like most of our parents lived, most people supposedly live to be 100 years old. That's like maybe a couple of generations. They play with us in so many shapes, forms, or fashions that slavery was so long ago. But the immigrants are coming over here, jumping on opportunity that they put no blood, sweat, and tears in, and they somehow think that we are supposed to fight for them when everybody is silent for us. Because most of us as Black people who are dying in the streets, who are on drugs, who are struggling in poverty, who are struggling education-wise, we are struggling because our grandparents were not given the chance to give us anything. So how are we supposed to feel sorry for anchor babies and immigrants who are coming over here want to live the American dream when we built the American dream? It was our blood, sweat, and tears that built the White House. Remember that? It was us. It was our blood, sweat, and tears that picked the cotton and picked the fruit. And they somehow saying immigrants need to do that. And I want y'all to know that we are 2025, right? Machines pick the fruits and vegetables now. You don't see nobody, you don't drive by no street and see no damn immigrant in the field picking nothing. They are in the air-conditioned factories putting the fruit together, or they might be picking it in their country. But they're in their country. They're over here living the American dream, sending money back to their country. They're in our streets that Black people have been unalive, shot by police because we want equality. We only want to be seen as humans. So how come it's easy to just ignore the Black struggle? I don't get it. How do they as much as they're fighting, you should be fighting for Black people to have reparations first, but they don't want to. Because I sit back and I think we were the ones taking care of their children. We were the ones cooking. Those are our recipes. We were the ones picking the fruits and vegetables. We were the farmers. It's like our history keeps getting swept under the rug, and now we're here fighting for immigrants, and it makes no damn sense. It'd be okay. Yeah, you have a struggle, but you got to take care. America needs to take care of their Black owned first.
One word: entitlement. They feel entitled to basically what we have. I sat and watched some of the immigrants on TikTok and basically telling us go back to work go to work because they need money. When they were getting all those handouts and stuff, that
Yeah.
probably wasn't everybody, but we did see folks on there telling us to go to work so that they can have money. And then they take that same money and they take it to their country.
And their
Their
people.
exactly.
They build
Not us.
businesses and they get jobs and they hire the people that look like them. Everybody practice racism except for us. Remember, I went in the grocery store and I said, when you look at things, how come there's a shelf for international? Y'all go to your grocery stores if I'm lying. You can go to the Asian part. The Hispanic people are over here taking our jobs. It's not just Hispanic. There are Black immigrants too. So there's a lot of Black people that's saying they're going to send you back home. That's why I kind of agree with Tariq Nasheed with the Foundation of Black Americans, because we cannot go to Jamaica, Haiti. We can't go to none other place and demand in the streets that they give us anything. So they're over here getting benefits too. But when you go in the supermarket, go down the international aisles, you will see food for everybody except for Africans, except for Black Americans, because Black America has been absorbed by white America, Asian, Hispanic, everybody. They absorb everything. They have nothing for us. We're just supposed to work and buy and work and buy. You got the Asian aisle, you got Hispanic, we got Goya all over the place. They planted, they not only taking jobs and stuff over here, but they have factories over there because they're able to take the money here and go over there, build businesses, and then come back over here and they ship their products to us to buy. Do we not see that? If food truck everywhere, we don't say go back because you got a food truck. Black people, we share with everybody, but nobody shares the spotlight or the economy with us.
That's true too.
And I want y'all to see how these Democrats and people are fighting. And some of these illegals are illegals because you cannot, when you over here, we have to go through credit repair. We have to have the same credit scores as everybody else, but everybody else got a hand up. The white people first through slavery, now the immigrants, the Asians, and who else could go to another country and start their credit over? They killing people unalive and whatever in another country. They're doing whatever they want in another country. They come over here for a second chance. Where can we go as Black Americans and get a damn second chance? Even if we move out the country, we still have to bring money to live.
Right.
Ghana and all that is cute, but Ghana is selling half of their shores to the Chinese. Ghana is letting us come, but ain't nobody giving us health care and none of this stuff for free.
Nope. And it's not our country. This is our country.
Nope.
We don't have any place to go back to. We're here. This is our country. We go back generations and we all can trace that.
Thank you.
Right.
We were already here.
And this is where we'll be staying.
This is where, and then the Democrats that you vote for, they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that these immigrants get benefits. They have housing, they have tuition, everything that we're asking for in reparations. And all we keep talking about, they making sure that it gets down the line where the generation dies out to where we don't have reparations, and then that story can be true where, oh, nobody was a slave. Nobody was a slave, but we are the descendants of the people that you worked to death, and they had nothing to leave us. What happened to the 20 millions of acres of farmland that Black people were the farmers first? Now we talk about immigrants farming. Where are the immigrants farming at? You got white people who own corporations that want immigrants to come work for slave dollars. They replaced us with the immigrants. There was times, I've said it before, where we did the lawn care. Black people had construction working jobs. We built America. Those gifts was passed on to our people. And it was during our generation that stuff was cut off because we want to live like the white people, but we didn't understand we had our own businesses. I was talking to my husband and he was talking about when he worked with the Hispanic people, they work over here and the Hispanic people was bragging about how they got farmland and acres over in their country. If you look around, they got their own Western Union, they got their own telephone cards. They built a country within a country off of our backs. They want us out the way so that they can make the money. When did they come? When in history were Mexicans the cleaners? We cleaned white people houses. My grandparents, I can get my great grandmother's death certificate. She was a housekeeper. So when did the Mexicans become more housekeepers than the Black people who were already here? We were the slaves. We went from slavery to being unemployed and then being replaced by immigrants. And everybody's okay with it. When Trump said they're taking your jobs, they were, because those were the jobs that we made businesses.
100%.
That's what I'm doing right now. I have a cleaning business.
Yep, those are the Black jobs.
From cleaning. What you say, Queen?
Those are those jobs that this man called the Black jobs. Because a long time ago, I know when I was young, construction people used to be Black.
Thank you.
Now they don't speak English. And that don't make no sense.
I don't know if anybody's using their common sense here. Then they paint the thing. They use these young kids now who have no sense because they had us working themselves to death and we didn't pass on that structure because we didn't want our kids to struggle. So we gave our kids something and we tried to make their life easy because we know how to struggle. And now they use that and say these kids don't want that. They don't want to work because we wanted to give our kids what white people gave them, freedom. And then turn around, my husband family, they did construction. My uncles and all of them, they did construction. They had their own construction businesses, or they worked for Black people who had their own construction businesses. Then when did y'all see when did the Hispanics, when did the illegals build America? You put y'all senses together. Those were our talents and our jobs.
Right.
And right now they're not, and you don't see no illegal immigrant in no field picking cotton or nothing by hand. They driving the trucks. They're using the machines that pick the fruits and stuff now.
I saw those, but how come I saw machines that being picking fruits? I don't know if that's in America or not, but if that's happening, why are these white farmers still crying that their stuff is on the ground? Because
you still have to come through and do some stuff by hand. Some stuff you gotta pick by hand, but not everything. Because sometimes the machines tear it up, but then you gotta have somebody in there to sort it. So that's why the jobs are getting scarce, because when the crop come and pick them up, you know, things have to be replanted. So they're using machines. They're not just out there all day in the sun sweating by hand. They play with our imaginations. These people are in a factory sorting it out, boxing it up. Just like most of the time, Black people, if you at a chicken plant, are you out here doing like they used to do a long time ago, wringing the chicken neck and plucking them and then putting the chicken out for everybody to sell? No, it's machines that do it now.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they playing with us saying, who gonna pick this? It's like we keep acting like this there. We need to start using our common sense. Common sense is everybody, what did your great grandparents used to do? And why you're not doing it no more? I think my mama told me, or one of them, somebody told me back then, it wasn't no graduating from high school. They worked enough and then they had their own businesses. Black Wall Street, you don't see nobody with high school diplomas. They had their own schooling.
Right.
They built Black Wall Street without the white man's education because they had hand skills. If you understand what happened after slavery and the union that y'all love, they were forced to teach white people the jobs because they were freed from slavery. So even though that we were freed from slavery, we were still under racism. That's where we're at now. And we were forced to teach white people's jobs. I'm not saying all white people, because some white people were poor. but we were forced to teach them how to use a machine. We invented machines to make our jobs easy. So how did it,
Right.
what did the immigrants do for us that they want us to fight their battles for? We supposed to fight for them to come over here and replace us in our neighborhoods?
Nope.
Mm.
They replacing our jobs. You can't find a cleaner job hardly no more without a Mexican. Then they use the little Mexican ladies. If you picture a cleaner, you picture somebody no English. They want you, they want that because they don't want black people to talk back and ask for their money. So they rather bring, that was just back in slavery when the white people didn't understand what we were saying and we didn't really understand them. So they want that language barrier so you could just shut up and do your job. So they bring in the immigrants who come from a poor country and who's going to appreciate the pennies that they want us to know we are equal here in America. So if I do a job, you do a job, you're going to pay me. They want to make it look like cleaning and stuff is a low, is beneath them while they sitting in the office throwing their shit on the floor and their houses dirty and sending their kids to daycare and having nannies and having a cook and stuff. That's the position that we think we supposed to be in when they don't have no family morals, but yet they want somebody to clean up after them, help them with their kids. They want somebody to sweep their floors, cut their yards. They want somebody to do their pools. And then they tricked us not to take them jobs because they tell you that's beneath you. Do you see that? Do you know how much the cleaning industry is? The cleaning industry is $1 billion industry. They done turn our people. Do you know what the lawn industry? Our kids used to get lawnmowers and walk the blocks. That's how they made money for the summer. And somehow you don't see no black kid no more trying to get a lawnmower and trying to walk around and get yards no more. We was doing the power washing. When did our neighborhoods get replaced by immigrants? When the Democrats did it. The Republicans were there too, but the Democrats did not save us. The Democrats was slowly giving our shit away, and now they are doing the same thing. Maxine Waters, you've been sitting here with your wrinkled up ass, not doing nothing for a long time, and now she out there somebody let her in fighting for immigrants and stuff. Then you seen when they pulled Jesse Jackson out there in his wheelchair. When the white reporter asked, I think it was Pastor Jamal Bryant.
You forgot to send that to me.
I'm like, why immigrants come take black jobs? And they sit there looking stupid.
Oh boy.
That's not good.
Then they looking at us as the criminals, but I'm gonna play this. They look at us as the criminals, but these people, most of them that they sending in, hold on. Most of them that they're sending in, they're sending in people. Hold on, that's the wrong tab. Okay, it's a queen sheet right there in that bag in the chair behind you. Most of them that they sending in here are murderers and rapists and stuff like that, and they're protecting them. But yet they tell you that if we don't put our hands up, that police is okay to shoot us. Comply. Do you see how they're prioritized over us? They don't care. They don't know who my grandparents is. They don't know who your grandparents is. All they do is see black skin, and you are NIGGA here in America, and you don't deserve nothing. But yet they can come over here and bring these immigrants that look a little bit like them. The immigrants be talking about the color of their skin. Show me the color of your skin, because you look a little bit white with the hair like white people to me, even though you're not. They come over here and they act like they white, and they don't appreciate the road that we paid for them to be over here, and it's the ungratefulness for me. They have come over here and said, yeah, they are very ungrateful.
Disrespect, very much. Yes. Do you watch the LA riot 2.0? How they beating up the police?
Yeah, they've been beating them up and burning stuff. Hold on.
No shots have been fired.
I'm gonna play this right here, where I'm gonna play a little bit of it. Let me do this before I do it, because I just want you to see how hard the Democrats and them are fighting for these immigrants, and nobody is fighting that hard for us. they're fighting hard so that they can be here and take your place. And they're becoming governors. They're opening up, and then they got immigrants coming because they're getting money. And those are the criminals, but yet me and you can't walk down the street without being seen as criminals, and the real criminals are getting tuition and housing. Can y'all see that?
We see the fair use.
You got the copy.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to play this. Hold on. And I just want to hear, they're getting on to this lady because of course they're taking up because there's white people dying, but look at how they're fighting for immigrants who are real criminals in their country.
First day in office, you sign it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
rather than going after the viral moment. I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers. No. Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders. Instead of advocating for victims, a 5-year-old who was raped, you did not. They were released because of sanctuary state policies in New York State. No amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created.
Chair recognizes Ms. Stefanik from New York.
Thank you. Governor Hochul, on your first day in office, you signed Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once, not twice, but 3 times, most recently January 16th this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would assume you'd know it's Executive Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor sanctuary state policies, correct? Is included in that.
I want to be sure we are defining sanctuary state properly.
I'll define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers have no authority in the state of New York to take any policy action solely because the person is an undocumented alien. That's a quote in your executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will.
I just want to pause that right there. Do you see, like, yes, they're fighting each other, but do you see that? Do you realize that governors and see, we look at President Trump signing executive orders, but do you know that your governors and mayors can sign executive orders too? They're signing orders. Did you see what their orders say? Leave undocumented illegal immigrants alone. And even though they're not here legally, but they never do that for us as Black people. They never sign executive order. Matter of fact, they sign orders where the police can come kicking our doors, no knock warrants, take our children out the arms of Black women having babies in the hospital that they feel is that they feel are not doing right as a parent, but yet the kids have been missing from CPS. Remember Breonna Taylor, there was no knock warrants and stuff, but I want y'all to sit back, take a breath, and just really remember when they say in the Twilight Zone, everything is happening around us so fast, so fast. I want us to breathe and stop and really look at what's going on. Put yourself as Black people first for a change, and look at these people who are writing policies and defending people who have not dropped a sweat or blood or tears on this soil to get benefits that our grandparents and we worked for. My mom and I'm pretty sure some of y'all parents, my mom distinctly remember being in a cotton field because my grandparents had to pick cotton. And some of our people, we got off good. They might have worked, but they worked for their own. But we put blood, sweat, and tears in America, and this is what we get. Just look at how they lie and help. And then when I look at it, I look at they can be doing this for us.
Will cooperate with ICE.
No, it does not say that. I read what it says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Khan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York. Do you know who Sebastian Zapita Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're
These are high-profile cases. Yes. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive. This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And
do you remember that? Remember the black woman?
No. Yeah, I remember both of them. Yep, I remember both of them. And
you see that this Democrat, and I ain't even saying Democrats have destroyed, they have made, it's something like they purposely, almost all the ghettos are Democrat ran. Y'all know that. And they make it look like they did it all this time because they've been little by little bringing in immigrants saying, hey, these black people, they're no good. See what they're doing to their cities, even though they dropped crack and drugs in our cities, took away our resources, made our, put our fathers in prison and did this so that they can have a destruction. And then everybody like, yay, cheer the immigrants that come in here and seems like they appreciate what we didn't, what we don't appreciate, but they don't understand. They want to appreciate they brought immigrants in to appreciate the little bit of pay and the little opportunities that they took away from us. They allow immigrants to stay in the house piled up on each other. But remember, there was a time if the man was in a house with the black woman or a bunch of us lived together, you couldn't get food stamps. You can't have your family live with you on Section 8, but yet they could. They got the opportunity. They come over here while you lit on fire and they do this stuff, and then to sit there and take up for them is where I'm looking at.
And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials due to sanctuary state laws. Now,
did you hear that? See how they are writing laws? That just show you they can go against this police violence that is stowed upon us as black people. Do you see that they told the police leave them alone, even though they knew these were murderers and rapists? They put in their executive orders to leave these criminals alone.
They can make an executive order overnight that would help black people, but they will not.
Exactly. And this is why black people is not being racist. I know our show talk. I have nothing against nobody. No white people, no nothing. I have something against the way that we are treated and the way that everybody like, oh, our children are being unalive. Our people are hands up, don't shoot. And there's no executive order. You don't see nobody going hard. They mention it, but nobody goes hard like they going for these immigrants. You got people sitting in there. You see how your government can help black people. New York alone has spent billions of dollars. Chicago, billions of dollars. Do you know you could have gave each black family $100,000, give us some education, some drug rehab, some mental health counseling, and we would have a good America. But this is why I said Rome is falling, because America is so racist. What they say, you don't cut your nose off to spite your face. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. America does not realize the hand that has been feeding them is black, and you have slapped away that hand that has been helping America, and now karma is at America's door. And no matter what America do and whatever you're trying to do, until you do right by our ancestors, which is our grandparents, our great and great grandparents, it wasn't that long ago. Remember, America is only 250 years old. Slavery was 150 years ago, so half of America's life, black people was building it for free. and you don't want to give us $1, and then to slap us in the face and spit on our ancestors' grave and piss in our children's faces. You bringing in illegal immigrants and immigrants, and then you give them opportunities you won't go, and you think America is going to stand? America is facing so much karma, they don't even know what's coming to them. You're going to have to beg black people. Black people don't need to sign up for these militaries and stuff like that. Why do we keep fighting for a country who keep forgetting us? Where was the immigrants at during the war? Where was the immigrants at when there was the North and the South wars? Where were the immigrants at when we made up Memorial Day because our black people fell dead for fighting American wars and nobody honored them? Y'all get the barbecue, but y'all ain't sacrificed not one illegal immigrant goddamn body. And you supposed to come. America has karma coming, and you mark my words. And that's from the universe.
Do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this. These crimes are horrific.
Because of
And I
your
would say
sanctuary state policies.
In all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove them.
You did not in this case. They are walking on the streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will explain to you the policies of New York. We cooperate with, I know you're just trying to.
You do not. Specifically, ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New York subways in Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell you who that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo Diaz? Do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary
You're not advocating for these victims.
Only deal
this
with
is a 5-year-old who was raped on Long Island in Nassau County. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement, you prioritize putting illegals first.
That is not
Rapes
true.
of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New York
These are
families.
horrific.
But
she has nothing to say. She needs to be gone.
It's about the money. It's about the kickbacks. It's not about people. And then what I don't like is that they say Americans. They lump us in as America. Like I said, go to the grocery stores. You'll see the shelves filled with everybody. Where's the black people stuff? Where's our blankets that our grandparents used to sew together? White people have the antiques. Where is our stuff that separates us? How come we can go in the everybody is separated? The Asians, the Indians, they can separate. They got Mexican, Hispanic. Everybody is separated, but we're black people. We're absorbed into the white society. We are taught, well, we're American. You're American like us. You get a credit score like us. You get to suffer like us. But where's our reparations? Where were we repaired before we got absorbed in America? How come it's wrong for us to have a shelf full of black American products, FBAs? This is why I stand by Tariq Nasheed when he say FBA, because we have to have something for ourselves. And we not trying to be nasty. I don't hate nobody, but my grandparents were in the cotton fields. Our grandparents might have been part of Black Wall Street. Our grandparents might have been in Rosewood. Our grandparents might have been in all these. It was 150 black towns. And in those black towns were contracts. There were, you go to Black Wall Street, and that's just one town. And it was a list, and it goes on and on, black insurance companies and everything. How come we lost everything and now we begging for jobs?
Yeah, they did the same thing in LA too. I sent the group a documentary on Black LA. And I guess that's why my parents migrated from Texas to LA, because of how things were booming. But yeah, a lot of those towns are gone.
Thank you.
now, and you're right, what's taken over now is a lot of the immigrants, and that's what you see. And then we're kind of pushed to the back somewhere. But
Not
I know
kind of,
that's
we
done by
are pushed to the
design.
back. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's done by design, and then they have a black looking face that they will put out in front to basically get you to vote for them, and then once they're in, they're not
they,
working for you.
they start
They're
stabbing us
paid.
in the back.
Yep,
Democrats
they're
are stabbing
paid.
us in the back. Republicans always been who they
Yep,
are, but Democrats have that hidden knife.
yep, yep, and they're paid to do it. Paid
Yep.
well.
I'm gonna play this. Hold on. I'm gonna play. I picked out some stuff. I'm gonna play this. If it comes up. Dang it. Hold on. And I'm a hold on. I'm gonna play this too. Hold on. And I just paid that because I wanted y'all to see some of the benefits that they're getting. See how they said in Boston, see how they did the immigrants like they did us. Anybody, regardless of your immigration status, can enroll in free college. But what happens when they get to the college, they don't need a high school diploma. Do y'all realize that? Because when they get in the door, even though they put us through the ringer, when they get in the door, oh, you're an immigrant. So they get this special services. So they put it as packaged for everybody. Then when they get in the door, then they get the special treatment. But they're stopping our kids. They're giving them housing, tuition, and they're giving our kids prison, group homes. One moment. I'm going to play something else.
Like you said, America's fallen. Let it fall.
Mm-hmm. Let it fall.
Mm-hmm. What's Celie saying? Till you do right by me.
Exactly. And that's why I said that they are going to be. That's why I said America is going to reap its karma. I'm just playing some stuff. And I want y'all to know, imagine if they did this for our people. We don't demand humanity, but they didn't take away civil rights. They gave us civil rights in a package for everybody. They took away our humanity. That's why nobody is taught to feel sorry for Black people, because they're teaching us that we're the animals. Everybody treats a dog fair. We're lined up with the dogs and the animal. I ain't saying all white people and all these people are the same. No, but I'm talking about our system, the government. I ain't talking about the people, because we live among Black people every day. And I just want to say, what's the little girl that went missing in Destin? What is her name? Trinity in the waters. Remember her? If y'all know the family that went out, the Black family, and she is missing at sea. I can say white people came together and they've been searching for that girl. And it was my first glimpse at humanity, that we didn't see color. We live among each other every day, but it's our government that plays us, because without us we could be segregated and have our own communities like before, but the government wants to get rich. So in order for the government to get rich, they have to play chess with us. And they give a certain group that look like them more privileges than us. And then the racist people put on uniforms or have positions, as you see, and they prioritize everybody while they ignore us, because those are the dogs in the cages. The black people are lined up with the dogs. They have more laws on the book to protect animals than they do to protect the black people who helped build America. Prove me wrong.
That's what I was about to say. They'll treat their dogs better than they treat us.
Exactly. Hold on.
Earlier today, I think it was, that per the president's instructions, he is stopping a HUD program that funded FHA loans for illegal aliens. Are you shitting me right now, bro? What is this, comedy hour? Are you serious? So,
and I want y'all to notice that she said Trump ended it. So how long did it been going on? He ended it. So they've been getting, some of us are just now looking into home ownership. I've never owned a home. I'm from the streets. I'm learning stuff. But they come over here, the carpet is rolled out, tuition, home loans, free, food stamps, Section 8. But he ended. So I just want you to know what they've been getting. So everything Trump ain't doing is right. Everything Trump do, I don't agree with him. But I agree with them getting the riffraff out so that our people can have a chance. And that's the problem with our people. We want to feel sorry for everybody else instead of for ourselves.
So not only were they getting Section 8 housing, kicking American citizens off the Section 8 list, putting them down at the way bottom, the back of the bus, giving them the Rosa Parks treatment. These bastards were over here, just got here, ain't never paid into the system, can't get a job because they can't get work permits because they're illegal. You got to be kidding me. How did they get home loans? How did they get home loans that American citizens cannot qualify for because we've been up in this bitch for the last 4 years while Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have waged economic warfare against us? So, we couldn't qualify for any of these high interest ass loans, but they've been getting FHA. How did they get approved? They don't have social security numbers legally. How did they get in housing with no credit history? How did they get FHA loans? Y'all done stole people's identity. How did you Jimmy rig the system? And y'all want to whine about federal employees losing their jobs? I was a federal employee. I know they don't do shit. Give me a break. Y'all want to whine about that? Losing my job and my daycare, my kids. Shut up. Bitch, learn the code. Are you kidding right now? So they've been getting FHA loans. What were they getting VA loans too? Huh? Why not? They were using the VA was redirecting money into their health care. Nothing surprises me anymore.
Did y'all hear that? See, the thing is, they redirect money.
I know how they did it. They were using dead people's Social Security. And then they were getting the
saying where the money was going.
People's Social Security. We already know. It's already been proven. There are several Black people that are getting money now that's owed to them from their spouse's Social Security. So where was that money all this time? And how long has it been going on?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
And this is why the Democrats want to stay in power. This is why they didn't want Trump and them in office. This is why they hated Elon. I'm not saying Elon and Trump is this and that, but I told y'all in the beginning, it takes a white man to bring down the white man. Trump needed to be in office to see this. Bump this little stuff that he doing. The little stuff Trump been doing has not overall affected Black lives. Black lives already been affected. Trump needed to pull down the white lies. I'm gonna play something else because I want y'all to see what they look over us as black people as human, and they redirect money. They could be doing this for their own citizens. This is why America is falling, because you will not do right by the people who made America the way that made America be able to be the thriving economy, economic country it is. You can't keep stealing from the generation of people who you never paid. The descendants of the slaves.
What up, though? What up, though? Hey, all my real estate investors, this might be a golden nugget right here. This might be a nice little glitch right here, y'all. So I don't know if y'all know, but immigrants are migrating to the States at a rate of 10,000 per day. The government is doing now is they're paying landlords to house them. They're already doing this over there in Europe. And the funny thing about it is I've been receiving emails from the city of Detroit because I'm on I keep seeing this email pop up, asking me, do I want to house immigrants? I kind of read through it, but I always, I just kind of like just, fumble over it. I don't really read too much into it, but I get a lot of emails from them. And I keep seeing this email pop up though. So I started doing my homework. And what I'm seeing is that over there in Europe, they are paying landlords to house the immigrants at $125 per night. They're paying landlords to house immigrants at $125 per night, and this is backed by the government. And because I'm seeing all these emails coming from the city of Detroit, I believe that it's happening here and now. It's slowly starting to happen here and now, where the government is going to start paying landlords to house these immigrants. This can be let me not forget. And over there in Europe, what's happening is real estate developers are going over there, raising money from over here and taking it over there and building real estate projects to house the immigrants. So this could be a nice little golden nugget, man. I understand, from a political standpoint, immigrants migrating over here can be a negative thing and a positive thing, right? It depending on how you look at it. As far as them taking jobs and all that stuff like that. All right, but I'm looking at the positive side of things, right? I don't live in fear. So I'm looking at it like, man, this could be a great time. It's always a great time to buy real estate, but this can be an even sweeter time to get into like multi-family housing, to start housing these immigrants and start getting this government money.
We could take a couple of things from that.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
No, but it's not a good way, because this is with us chasing money. That now some of these videos are old, so I'm just showing how it led up to this. And you see that everybody takes money from America. Black people, we're paying taxes because we're working in the restaurants. We're working in these bull-ass jobs, and they're taking all this money out of our checks. Those are taxes. And they're sending it to other countries. And then they're sending their people over here. Like he said, Europe was paying it, but he's from Detroit. He's in real estate. That's why I say a few black people get it. But then because you're in Detroit, they're sending him emails, house these people. And then they're getting a stipend from Section 8 and stuff. Like I said, they don't go through the same qualifications and the same guidelines for Section 8 that the normal American does. Because if I had Section 8 and then you come live with me, we'll both get kicked out, because why are you having somebody that's not on your lease, and you can't be on a lease because you make too much money? So people like him were used to bring in the immigrants to flood our communities. Then they get in the communities, Grand Rising Curly Girl. Then they get in the communities and then they take over. They take over the jobs, like Kathy was saying. In LA, look it up. LA, they lost many jobs. LA wasn't 50% Asian and Latino. It was black at first. LA was black. So how did they take over? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of little things like this. They get the inside. They get somebody on the inside and they house, and we housing people. The landlords don't want to rent to us. This is why these corporations are taking over the housing area. They're buying up all this real estate, and then they get the housing, and then everybody gets the money from the government. But where is the government getting the damn money? From me and you.
Stealing it. Yep. And remember, Queen, in 2020, when black businesses was booming around 20, like right after 2020, 2021, there were so many black businesses. And then Biden came in, put in new rules, and a lot of those black businesses are gone.
And tried to put in the BOI, the business, when you put your information in and say it was so that they can stop laundering money, but yet you left out the big corporations. So everything that the Democrats have written, every law written against the black communities have came from the Democratic Party.
Facts.
I'm gonna play this. And I want you to, everything that we see that they doing for immigrants, people, I want you to imagine if they just went out their way this hard for black people. We wouldn't have the ghettos that you call. We wouldn't have all this gun violence. We wouldn't have this. Tiny homes, sanctuary for immigrants. They're looking for somewhere to put immigrants. Read what it's saying. That could be
that writing was too small. I couldn't see what it said.
He was saying that these houses are being put up, and then they looking to move immigrants in. They tiny houses. Those are the tiny. That's a tiny house community that I was been talking about building. They only 600 square feet. They got 2 bathrooms. They have everything you need. You seen what it looked like. That's a tiny house. And then they said that can be used for a veteran or a homeless person. Why not us first? Do you think that's fair? They building this stuff for immigrants so they can house them. Because we can't, everybody in America can't be at one place at once. That's why we have social media to show this could be happening in the neighborhood. We don't know. We live in here. There's another part of the state somewhere that's probably was overgrown and secluded, and they cut down them trees, open up a little pathway, and now you got a community that me and you would never know, and it's paid for by the money that me and you are paying in taxes. You pay taxes. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care if you mopping floors. I don't care what you're doing. That when they making your job seem so low, they want you out there so they can take that money out your check. There's a difference with being a W-2 worker and a 1099. All these corporations have gotten together so that you could be a W-2 worker, and then the government gives corporations or businesses benefits, so that if you're a W-2 worker, that means you go ahead and make that employee sign that paperwork so that the government can go ahead and take that money out the check, and it goes straight to Uncle Sam so that they can use that money to help everybody but black people. And then what they do is they don't tell you like 1099, because there was no such thing as W-2. Every time black people free ourselves from the clutches of this white supremacist racist government, they come up with a new game. See, you could do 1099. Like, I have a small business. When I hire people, I do 1099. I was going to do W-2 because during the PPP, they didn't give you any the big money. I don't know. They didn't give you the big money, because I had to have W-2 employees. Basically, you saying, well, you didn't help the government. So you can get PPP for having a business. But where you get the fraud at is saying that you had W-2 workers. That's where the money was coming in at. They were giving like up to $30,000 a person for having W-2 workers, because them W-2 workers, meaning I had to pay for a system to take taxes out of that person's check. And because when you look at your check and they take out taxes, that money goes straight to the government.
I don't miss that at all.
But the point is, all these jobs can make us 1099 workers. If the corporations really cared about anybody, they would make us 1099 workers and then let everybody pay the government on their own. But they have came up with a system and they normalize it. Anywhere you work, that company could just pay you and then let you be a grown adult and pay your taxes when you want to pay your taxes. But that state and the government got together, and when you sit up here and you go to work, the state get their cut first, and they make it look like it's this is how the government, how it's ran. No, that wasn't like it. You should be able to have the 1099 and you pay your taxes as you pay, but they want to get their money first, and it's not fair because Black people, they think they paint this picture that you pay taxes. Only rich people pay taxes. Rich people barely pay taxes. It's the McDonald's workers. It's the restaurant workers. It's the hospital workers. It's everybody else who get a paycheck that get it. And then other people, they're getting bonuses. These corporation people are sitting up here where it don't affect them. And then that's why Trump was putting in, stop taxing the tips, because then they put in the order, when you make money, I'm gonna tax you on the little tips that anybody tip you. So we paying taxes on tips that you ain't even know about. You go to the restaurant and eat and you live a $10 tip. Them waitresses, because I used to be a waitress, we have to put that money in the system. And then when you pay, they pay waitresses $6 an hour now, $4 to $6 an hour. It used to be $2 an hour. Minimum wage went up. And so when they working them hours, they have to get the money that you get tipped from. That's the money they living off, because that check is being ate up with taxes. So when you go in there and do a tip, you put how much tips did you make in the system. You put, hey, I made 50 or 100 tonight. Then when they take that $6 or $3 an hour and everything, when you go to the computer, when you get your check, they take their taxes. W-2s is a scam to take you. No taxation without representation. Remember the Boston Tea Party? Taxing Black people, but you're not representing Black people. You're representing immigrants. But when they don't teach you real history and don't teach you government and don't teach you the truth, this is what you is. Queen Angie said it's still $2.13 an hour. That's what it was when I was a teenager. I think it went up to $4, though. Oh, she said there. I thought the federal government put up to $4. Somebody can Google it and look it up. But people are making, that's all they have. The government is taking their money. Sometimes I made $1.
Wow. But did you see that on somebody put up that on one of their receipts from a restaurant that they were being charged, the wage was called a cost of living wage. It was a cost of living wage on their receipt. So that was added on to their bill along with the tip. I don't know if you guys saw that video or not. I said, oh, is that what they're doing now?
I didn't see that.
In Atlanta, when my daughter was going to rent a restaurant, they charge you ahead of time, and then they charge you If you notice, when you go in there, they charge you pre-gratuity, and they say parties of this or that. Instead of the corporations going after the government and making changes, they keep going after the people. That's why I said we live among white, Black, and all of us. We live among each other. It's our government that's playing us. So instead of the corporations, because the corporations is making money, they come after the people. So when me and you go out to eat, Now, because they need to take care of their waitresses, because they don't want to give the waitresses a raise, of course, because the CEOs of these corporations got to keep $1 million coming in so they can live this $1 million lifestyle, which is unnecessary because they keep raising the prices. So it can seem like you need to work hard for this when if it costs $1 million to $100,000 last year, it should still stay $100,000. Inflation is just the banks and the rich people still staying rich while the prices of what our everyday living is going up. So they want to tax you and me when we go out to eat at their establishment so that they can pay the workers. We're paying those workers when you go out to eat and you tip. The company is not paying them. The company gets away with paying them $2 and $3 an hour, and then they want us to tip them.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, the curly girl said I tip them in cash. It's not their business what I give them up to the way. That's true, but we shouldn't be tipping at all. Don't you know, me and my daughter, we were talking about in another country going to visit because my grandson is obsessed with Korea. It's an insult to tip. America is the only, they started tipping because of slavery. It goes back to slavery. America is the only country that do that. It's stupid for us to tip when you need to pay your waitresses. It makes no sense for a CEO and the people in the company to make hundreds of thousands of dollars when the real workers, the cooks, the dishwashers, the waitresses are the ones running the business. We are backwards, black, white, whatever you are. Workers cook. The workers are keeping the rich rich. The rich do not pay their waitresses. Some places pay their waitress minimum wage or whatever, and then they can keep the tips. And in some places, I work at a country club, I can host a party. By the time we get through doing all this, they divide the tips between us. The only time I seen them tipping good is if you look, I think it's a show called Bottom Below or something, and you see them working on boats. They took it to another level. They have a wait staff that work on boats. You never see nobody black being in these staff. And then these people take these private boats out there, and then it's a show. And then the wait staff they cater to these people all the time on while they on this yacht. Then they get out and divide the tips. Now they getting thousands of dollars. And we out here serving people, spitting on food on the floor, sweeping it up, and we coming home with maybe $100-something a night. The illusion of poverty comes to keep the rich rich. And they want to replace the black people who have waken up with immigrants who is going to accept it because they keep the immigrants' country poor as dirt so that they can come over here. Let me show you something. See all this? Black people don't appreciate this. See all this? You know they don't like this. You come in and work. And then the immigrants come in. Yeah, black people don't like to work. And they go all together. And we're going to give you Section 8. See, they get Section 8, we get Section 8, but nobody is putting the 2 and 2 together that their Section 8 is different from our Section 8. The rules for them is different. Yeah, we can get an FHA loan, but we need credit. We need this. We need that. They're not telling them that they coming in here and they getting a free Social Security number with no history behind it. And then they get the laid out jobs and stuff. And then all y'all get to live in this house. You get Section 8, you get Section 8. And between the government and the landlord getting the money. It's like the money that they're getting for Section 8 coming from us is being funneled back to the rich. And nobody knows. The government is the problem. And we keep sending our kids in the military to fight for a country. We've been fighting in the military since slavery. When we first was joining the war between the North and the South, we all were promised freedoms that we never got. Ain't nan immigrant bled in no war for us.
Not one.
So until immigrants start standing up and coming in this country to fight and build for us, and hey, everybody look out for their own. There's nothing wrong with that. But when are black people going to wake up and start looking out for your own? You do not need to feel bad because you're not fighting for somebody to come and replace your neighborhood, your jobs. Them jobs you see, that the construction worker and the lawn care job, that could be your LLC. That could be your own business. Do you know how much think about it. What do you pay your lawn person to cut your yard? Imagine a person cutting, if you paying $50 to $100, and imagine the yard is being cut for $100 and they doing 10 yards a day. That's $1,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what you could do with $1,000 a day, and then you hire your friend. They come in and then they do a language barrier. Then they hire each other. They call on their country, come over here. I got a job. They not hiring black people, just like you ain't see nobody black working in a Chinese restaurant, but ain't nobody suing the Chinese for racism. I've seen a Chinese family had no problem with it. They funnel their family in and out. The Arabs and the Indians, they funnel their family in and out in the gas stations. They might have a black person cleaning up, but they are running the gas station. They bring their people in as an immigrant. Nobody asks questions. Nobody's going to ask for paperwork because they own the business. This is why they are doing this fighting for immigrants. We could be hiring our own people. Our kids didn't have to resort to selling drugs and robbing people. They put us in that position because they gave our jobs to immigrants.
Sad. That's true, Queen. They did. They gave our jobs to the immigrants. And I was thinking that it probably started around the time when Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. So what is that? 60s? In the 60s.
Yep.
I don't know if it's me or you, Queen.
It's you. You went out for a minute.
No,
I can hear you. Your face is frozen, but I can hear you. Tina.
Yeah, I think my service is acting up.
Oh, okay. Now you're back.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
My service is acting up now. But I just wanted to say that we're going to get up out of here. Do y'all have anything else to say?
No, we need to start looking out for our own.
Exactly. And what you were saying before about black people not sticking together, apparently we are sticking together. We're sticking together too much because everybody else is upset that we're not coming out to help them.
Yeah, you're right about that, Queen. You're right about that. Black people are starting to stick together and starting to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We need to stop unaliving. Our young kids need to stop unaliving each other. We need to have more patience with each other. And we need to take back our communities. This is why they infested our communities with drugs and guns, stuff that we never did that stuff before the 70s. So why did we start?
Yeah.
It should be, the government should be sued, and the music industry should be sued with us being the only people who rap and sing about our own destruction. Every time they want us to play in the movie, they want us to be a thug, a drug dealer, or something like that. They never gave us serious roles. And if it was a serious role, they made it with a rapper who rapped destruction and then put them in the film in front of us, so that we could still idolize that person who stand for selling drugs and shooting and carrying guns. Think about it.
Yeah.
But when we look at jobs, go to your supermarkets. I want y'all to go to your supermarkets and drop in the chat. Tell me where's the aisle for the black people, because our grandparents are the ones who used to cook. If we laugh at all the time, white people put raisins in their potato salad. White people don't use seasoning. Then how come only white people own KFC and all the chicken places and stuff?
We know why.
How come white people are
stolen recipes?
Yeah, how come white people are the only ones with owning seasoning companies? How come when you go buy seasoning and stuff, it's either white people or Hispanic? We have let them take our culture and make it theirs. Because we
I don't
always
think
want
we
to
let
say, no,
them.
God said everybody's right. We the only one playing by the rule. Everybody's right, but it's okay. You got the Hispanics, or if it wasn't Hispanics, how come it's okay to say Hispanics? How come it's okay to say Asians? How come it's okay to say blacks only when they want to describe us, but it's not okay for blacks to have their own stuff? You got the Hispanic community. Nobody said that's racist. You got the Asian community. Nobody said that's racist. You got the white community. How come when we say the black community, the only thing we have is the ghettos that the white that Democrats have set up for destruction place? How come black people can't get together because they destroyed our communities? We had Black Wall Street, we had Rosewood, we had that stuff. And what happened in the black communities? That means we had our own doctors, lawyers, construction workers, house build, everything a community had. We didn't need the white people. They burned it down so that we would need them. Then they tricked Martin Luther King to say we need to be integrated because we thought we were missing something that we already had. Let's stop being fooled. When Martin Luther King found out, he woke up and then they unalived him because they didn't want him to tell us we already had everything. We didn't need to be integrated.
We can get there again.
A community that we don't even understand English. I mean, understand what they're saying. Why do we need to be integrated? Why can't we have our own black community where everything we need? They make sure our community is. They make sure we're not looking to build our own. When we look to build our own, we're told we're being racist. There's nothing racist about our own. You got the white community, you got the Hispanic, you got the Asian, you got the Jews. Because all them people have somewhere else to go to if they left America.
That's true.
Exactly.
So we're going to get up out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Watch the replay, like and share. And like I said, do an example. Look around you. Look in the stores. Who are you buying from? How come all our hair grease and everything that we were using as children was owned by white companies? Because they study us to make money from us. It's time for us to make money from ourselves.
Right. That was disappointing. Let me say one last thing, people, because food is important. If you are able to get to a farmer's market where you trust their food, do that. If you're able to order meats and stuff online from somebody reputable who happens to be black, do that. I just started getting some eggs and chicken and beef from this place called blackbirdcoop.com, and the food is pretty good.
Okay.
That's great.
Pretty good.
Okay. Our farm started selling meat, so they do meat, chicken, pork, beef. Yeah, and then they have their the vegetables.
That's what we need. We need the vet. They don't. He didn't start selling produce, so I emailed him and said, if you get with somebody reputable that you trust, and you do a thing with vegetables on your website, then he can start combining the vegetables and the meats together, and that's a whole nother what's this thing called, income stream for him if he wanted to do that. But yeah, we got to pay attention to our son. I'm glad that we are sticking together more. That's a positive.
Yes.
Well, you got it. Thank you, ladies, for tuning in. I'm going to get back to work, to my cleaning business. I mean, it's nothing wrong with working for some people, but people, even if you're going to do something, pick up a second. If you're going to pick up a second job, learn it. Everybody is not meant to be business owners, because even when black people had their own business, black people worked for black people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we have to be aware of what's happening to us.
Yeah.
Start doing some history, start reading, and start looking at what's really happening to us, and stop looking through the eyes of white people and immigrants, and start looking through our own eyes. Start uplifting our own selves. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace.
Thank you, chat.
And shout out to the nation. Shout out to Queen Angie and all the Pablo and Mind Games and everybody else that's part of us, and for sticking here with us, especially you, Curly Girl, too, in the audience and in the comments. And
thank you, chat.
Yes, DJ and
our God. I know he'll be in later because he always comes in. So y'all have a beautiful, blessed day.
All right. Love each other.
Peace.
Peace.